This is the Finesse Media Podcast, Season 3.
Finding reasons to stay. New mind, moved on. You're wrong. I got real tired of your games. I'm so glad I walked away. Tell you what I ain't gon' do. Say what I ain't no fool.
You know, I can turn up.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Another episode of Finesse Media Podcast, Season 3. And as mentioned right before the break, I told y'all we got another Finesse coming. For those that can see, you already see who it is in the back screen, on the screen. My soror, Zeta Phi Beta, Pleasant Grove, stand up. That's what's up.
Grove side.
Z5, Blue Fi, all that good stuff. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast for the first time. My soror, singer, songstress, writer, Amanda Maxwell, better known as Mandi. You better ask her. What's up, girl? How you doing?
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you came on, Queen. How have you been?
You know, it's been, life is happening. So it's been a little bit rough, but I'm blessed. I cannot complain. Grateful for every opportunity coming my way.
That's what's up. And as I mentioned, Pleasant Grove, born and raised, Texas. I'm in Dallas, but I respect those that is from that Pleasant Grove area, man, because y'all got a pride like no other.
We got to.
What was that like growing up, Pleasant Grove?
Growing up in Pleasant Grove?
Because there's so many people from y'all area.
It's good times. Of course, Pleasant Grove got to compete with Eau Claire because, everybody know Eau Claire. So it's been a competition to try to get the Grove on the map, but it's all good. It was great. Loved growing up in the Grove. Yeah.
And that talent that you have as a singer, was that always, something that you had growing up in Pleasant Grove, or you discovered it, somewhere in college?
Oh, no. I've sang my whole life. My parents are musicians. That runs in my family. My mom and dad used to play, and she would direct choirs. They're both from Arkansas.
What's up with your pops? That's one sharp dude.
Shout out to People's Funeral Home too. My daddy owned a funeral home. But yeah, they used to be musicians, and they would go around the city and do conferences and workshops and stuff together. So when I turned 6, my dad taught me how to play piano. I learned how to play piano. I learned how to write music. Then I went to school. I went to A&M Commerce, where I played Zeta Phi Beta, and I was a music major. And so from there, I tried my hand at doing background vocals in the Dallas area, and I've sang background for just about every Dallas artist you can think of. And from that, got in the industry. I went on tour with Anthony Hamilton and Charlie Wilson.
Shine bright like a diamond. Fine light in a beautiful sea. I chose to be happy. You and I were like diamonds in the sky.
And LaPortia Renee, and my career has kind of just skyrocketed from there. LaPortia saw something in me that was a little bit more than just singing background, and she encouraged that and cultivated that, along with my Dallas people encouraging me to be an artist.
It's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's incredible. And I want to know your feelings and thoughts about that, because your people from Dallas watching. Shout out to the DF Dub. I've been living here for 5 years, and the love in Dallas is crazy. Like, it's in the water, it's in the air. Shout out to Badu. But really, Dallas hold you down. People from other places too, because believe me, when folks saw you coming on here, I was getting hit up from folks that's not from Texas. Are you kidding me? People that's not from Texas has been following your music. And so, but Dallas folks, they've been holding it down and supporting you for so many years. How has that been?
Dallas is such a saturated market. There's so much talent here.
Yes, it is.
Like you really got, I don't want to say fight, but you really got to prove yourself to be top tier here. We got Daniel Jones, who is the MD for Janet Jackson. You got Gino Eichelhart, who used to play for Badu. He's actually on the whole Mama's Gun album. That's him on there. There's so much talent. Being able to call these people friends and brother and sister, and being around all that talent has cultivated me to the artist I am now. Like, I'm really blessed to be able to grow up in Dallas. A lot of your favorite artists, Kirk Franklin, Shout out to Kirk. When he uses background vocals and vocals, period, a lot of those people come from Dallas.
No,
And so like Dallas is really like the mecca of music vocals here. And not just vocals, but musicians too. We have incredible musicians here too.
Yeah, just creatives in general.
Yeah, creatives in general, yeah.
In general, and you see it from the, you know, the infrastructures, the buildings, you know, with the art and whatnot. If you go to Deep Ellum, like that's a real artsy place.
Oh yeah.
But just so many different parts of the Metroplex, you have talent. Every Sunday and Saturday, even in this damn pandemic, you've been kicking butt. Still over at Sandaga.
And Sandaga 813, that's home right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So how is that? How is that? Because you're still kicking butt in this pandemic.
You know, it's been a bit of a challenge to try to stay safe and still deliver and stay visible during this pandemic, because people, you know how people are, out of sight, out of mind. Once they don't see you anymore, they forget about you. So I've tried to find a way to keep myself out there. And so along with the Saturday nights at Sandaga and the Sunday nights at Lava Cantina, Sandaga has allowed me to open up like a whole new platform for vocalists, and it's called The Warm Up. And we do that on Wednesday nights. And so like vocalists from everywhere, this is their opportunity to be in a judgment-free zone to where they can just cultivate their craft and hone their craft and really be the artist that they've always wanted to be. Because it is very intimidating growing up in the city with so much talent. You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to create, along with Gino Iglehart, create an environment for singers, strictly singers, because sometimes we get overlooked at jam sessions and stuff like that. But this is kind of like The Voice meets a jam session. And it's a little bit competitive, but not like in a nasty way. And all they're working towards is at the end of the competition, whoever wins, they get to open up for me on a Saturday night.
That is
so
super dope.
It's a way for somebody to really like hone their artistry.
And like you said, keep people out in front of other folks, you know what I mean? Because the virtual space, I said every week on this podcast, it's great, but you know, I want to get into a space where I'm sitting down with folks and touching folks and being able to see folks. But seriously, for you as a musician, you know, you get that energy from your crowd, you know?
Oh yeah, need that energy. And I've done some virtual stuff. You know, when the pandemic first hit, virtual was the way to go. It's just not the same. Like I can feel people. I need all of that. And not even just the claps, just you can feel people's vibes just from them being around. So it's been a little bit of a strain not being able to go hug people like I want to after my show, because I'm a lover. I will love on you after a show and on my break. I don't want to go be by myself. I want to feel people's energy, and I want them to know the real me. I'm very accessible. But that's been really the challenge, is having to go straight to the bag after a show and stuff like that. But so far, it's kept me healthy. It's kept me safe. It's kept my family safe and healthy. And we're still able to thrive. Is the hashtag Mandi brand.
There you go. And then looking right at it, Mandi, AskMandi, the EP, you dropped that. And tell us about that, you know, that album, our listeners.
That whole EP, the AskMandi EP, came about because for two reasons. I had I guess a bit of a vlog situation on Facebook, and it was called AskMandi, where people could inbox me questions that they were maybe afraid to ask on social media, or they just wanted advice, or they wanted to talk about topics that are a little bit taboo. And you know me, I don't care. I'm gonna say whatever I want to say. I don't care. And so from that, at the time, I was going through a divorce. And
oh no shit! I didn't even know you were married before.
Yes, I was married.
How long were you married?
Yeah. We were married for 2 years. We were together for 5.
Wow.
Yeah. But that marriage was pretty. It's pretty terrible. It was pretty damn bad. and from that pain and that story, I decided I wasn't going to let anybody else tell my story and tell what happened, because he did so much stuff. It was all over Dallas. And I decided, well, if people want to know, they can ask me directly. I put the whole thing in an EP. So that EP is really about my divorce, my marriage, the things that he did, stuff that I did, because I wasn't perfect. You know what I'm saying? Girls, hey, women fuck up too. We do our dirt too. And that's what that EP was about. I didn't want anybody to be able to gossip about me. I said it all myself. I spilled my own tea.
No,
So that was
it's
what that
good.
EP was
And
about.
in fact, one person comes to mind, Vince Brewer. He's from Chicago, but now
Uh-huh.
lives in Atlanta. And he's
Hmm.
telling me, dude, you have an ass. He said, you have a Mandy on? I go, yeah, that's Soro. I mean, he's not a Greek affiliate, but he's
Hmm.
one that comes to mind. It was a couple of folks, but I just thought Vince Brewer, I don't know if you know him or whatnot, but he
Okay.
follows your artistry and he was excited to have
Oh,
you on. So,
yay.
but certainly, so when people say that, hey, they need to ask Mandy, and you've been giving people, the truth through your music and your
Hmm.
artistry. But what's three things that people don't know about Mandy?
One, I'm an introvert. So it takes a lot of energy for me to be this extrovert on stage. I kind of liken myself to like a Beyonce, Sasha Fierce. Something happens when I get on stage and I can't really explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Or like when I get in front of the camera, something happens and it's a light that just instantly turns on. But you wouldn't think that based on like my social media persona or my stage persona. Two, I'm a nerd. I am a nerd. Like I like to watch the Discovery Channel and I watch YouTube makeup tutorials when I'm not doing stuff. Uh, I'm whack. Three. Huh. I'm really a sweetheart. I
Mm.
think people have this image of me that I'm very tough because I'm very confident. Which I am. I'm very confident because life has taken me through a lot of stuff. And when you go through life, you toughen up real quick. And you find yourself when you go through the ups and downs of life. I really feel like people that ask me all the time, how do I get your confidence? I want to be more confident. Keep living.
Keep
Keep
living.
living. That's how you find it. It's in you, but life brings it out of you. So I
Mm.
guess those would be the three things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's three things certainly I didn't know about you, and to get to know you during this conversation is definitely good. And then you, like you say, having people to have your back. You got your soror and your real sister.
My
Shout out to
blood, my
Tiff the
one and only.
Zeta. Yeah, man. So
Yes.
how has that been growing up with another talented, sibling that's finessing the game? And if you're watching this, Tiff, get your ass over here and get on the podcast.
Oh
I reached out
yeah,
to
for
Soro, so
sure.
we gonna do some things. But how has that been for you? Or how has that experience been? I
She's
have
my
no.
absolute best friend.
That's what's up.
And so growing up with my sister has been it's been amazing. We have each other's backs through everything, ups and downs. Yeah, so growing up with Tiff the Zeta, well, for me, she's just always been Tiff. Um, it's been a blessing to have the one person that has my back no matter what. Just happens to be my blood sister and my sorority sister. I actually brought my sister in
Whoa,
to
really? I didn't know
Zetadom.
y'all attended the
So
same school.
yeah, for a year, and that was rough living with my sister in college because we're two totally different personalities. We the
Yeah.
same, but we completely different. But no, she's amazing. She's my best friend. Sometimes she's got to be my mentor. Sometimes she's got to be my rock. Sometimes I'm hers. She's really like my shoulder to lean on. She's really my everything.
No, Tiff is dope. As I mentioned, she is
Man, super
finessing the
dope.
game. A stylist, for those that don't know, Tiff is
Hmm.
a bad stylist here in Dallas
Yeah.
and just throughout. But then also someone you mentioned too that's finessing the game. That's a stylist is Bo John or Bolins. Is it
Oh
John
yeah,
Bolin?
Jay Bolin. Jay
Jay
Bolin.
Bolin.
Yeah.
Jay Bolin's here and he's doing a lot of great things.
He's doing his thing.
Definitely doing this thing. And who are some of the people that help you with this artistry, right? So every singer, I believe, got a vocal coach. So who is that go-to person that keeps that thing going for you?
The crazy thing is, every time I ask somebody in Dallas to be my vocal coach, they're like, "You good?"
Oh,
I'm
really?
like, "No, I'm not." Yes, like every time, like I've reached out to, and not to say anything bad, but they're just like, "I don't know what I can teach you. I don't know what I can show you." Um, I actually had before she passed. Her name was Bridget Jernigan,
Mm-hmm.
and she was my mentor. She sang with God's Property, and there's just not a voice like her still to this day. But she was the one person that really brought the shyness out of me and really taught me how to just be okay with my sound and my tone because it's different. I don't feel like I sound like anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But she's the one that made me very comfortable with my range, my upper register, my lower register, And I don't have her anymore, but she still lives in my heart. So every now and then when I feel like I need a little bit of encouragement, I talk to my sis because I'm
That's
very
what's up.
spiritual. And I believe people don't leave. They just transition.
That's what's up. Yeah,
And
definitely,
so,
and just in a
yeah.
different form. So, who are you
Yeah.
listening to? What's some of the artists? Because I know that you are R&B singing. You get down with the gospel too. I was watching
I
a clip of
do.
you on the stage too. So, who are some of the artists that you're listening to or have been listening to?
Well, my favorite artist would be Kimberell. Anybody that knows me knows that
Whoo,
Kimberell is top tier to
man,
me.
she and I share the
Absolute
same
top tier.
birthday. That's August
Really?
26th. Yes, man, Virgo's sister. She is dope. She ain't got a church in Houston. So,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Kimberell, Brandy, the vocal Bible. I
yeah.
love Brandy. I like a lot of male singers too. Joe,
Joe.
Tank.
What about Eric
Um,
Roberson?
I love Eric Roberson. One of my producers actually works with him. He's his producer as well.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, I get to be in and out of the studio. I get first listens and stuff. Eric Roberson is absolutely dope. A couple of other indie artists that I really like. Kenyon Dixon is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely amazing. Um, let's see. Mickey Miller. I love Mickey
Nikki
Miller.
Miller. Okay,
Mickey
okay.
Miller
I've
is
heard Nikki
amazing.
Miller,
She's
but
from Chicago too, I think.
I haven't
I think
listened to
Mickey's
the recent
yeah.
album. I
Oh
haven't listened
yeah,
to any of
listen to
the recent
Mickey. Yeah, she's dope.
music that she's put out. But being in R&B, being in gospel, how has
Hmm.
that kind of been received? Because a lot of times still in this era you kind of have that, or are you going to be a gospel artist, or are you going to be a R&B artist? So what do
Hmm.
you kind of categorize your art?
I would say that I'm definitely R&B because that kind of is like where my heart is.
Mm-hmm.
I love gospel; that's where my roots are. But gospel didn't allow me to express myself the way I need to express myself as #Mandy. And at a certain point, because I used to be a praise and worship leader, and carrying that responsibility of leading God's people into worship it's not conducive to being on stage on a Saturday night drinking
Mm-hmm.
Hennessy and doing 90s
Mm-hmm.
R&B. So I had to make a decision, but that has absolutely nothing for me to do with my faith. I still believe in God. I'm still very spiritual. I still believe in Jesus. I am a diehard Christian. But I really think R&B best fits who I am as an artist and the platform in which I need to speak.
Well, glory to God, but God damn it, bring another album. So
Do you
what
hear
are we
me?
ready for?
Well,
Listen,
I dropped
AskMandi
I
dope,
dropped
but
D&D.
when are we getting this next album? When we getting
We working on it right now. I was in the studio. I did 2 sessions yesterday. I promise y'all, I am working. If I'm not on stage, I'm in the studio working on this next album. I dropped D&D. That's the first single from the second EP, which is going to be called Mood. And that's
Okay.
exactly what it is. It's a whole mood. It's a whole vibe. If you know
I
anything
agree
about
to
me,
that.
okay. I am a 90s R&B connoisseur. So this album is going to be very reflective of that.
Okay.
And right now, 90s R&B, people listen to 90s R&B like it just came out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of my vein. That's what I kind of stick to. That's what I love. So that's what this EP gonna be.
I can't wait. I can't wait. This album, this EP, the AskMandi is so melodic though.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a second that you were saying you can just AskMandi. Listen, I'm not a singer. I ain't gonna play with y'all, but it took me a second. I said, wait, that's
shit.
yo. So that's dope. Since it's a, like you said, it's a vibe. It's a whole mood.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a vibe here in Dallas. It's just a vibe here. I can see why folks stay. But during this pandemic, you remain consistent, as we talked about, being still consistent on Saturdays and Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned, Soroy, in this pandemic, about yourself or others?
I've learned, like I think many people have learned, to slow down. There's no need to rush because we're not always going to be in control.
Yep.
Things happen, life happens. You got it. I was telling my son this today. Sometimes life happens and you just got to go with the flow. There's no need to panic. God is in control no matter what the circumstance is. And that's why even with this album, I don't feel the need to rush to get it out because I want, when it does come out, for it to be a classic. I want it to be a staple. I want people to be singing this when they like 60 years old. I want this to be reminiscent of 90s R&B so it sticks around. I want to put something of substance out. I don't want to rush this one because this one here is celebratory for me. The last one was about heartache and getting through, and now I'm through it. And this album is going to be reflective of where I am in my journey right now, just celebrating life and celebrating myself as an artist. And sometimes I think people think it's a bad thing to celebrate yourself. There's nothing wrong with being proud of the accomplishments that you've made.
For sure.
And just being proud of where you are, especially being able to do all the things that we're doing, even you doing this podcast in the midst of a pandemic, still being able to bring quality content to people. That's a blessing in itself to have the equipment to do that. So a lot of people have lost a lot of things during this pandemic, but I'm super grateful. I've learned to be more grateful for the things that I have as opposed to the things that I don't have. I don't even worry about what I don't have, because whatever it is God wants me to have, it's going to come. So I've learned to just chill out.
You can tell your folks got some affiliation with a funeral.
Right?
Y'all done preach some sermons in there, Sora.
Right? I'll be talking when I get to going.
No, that's what's up. And as I've been saying, Sora, we said a couple of times, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, happy 100 years.
Yes.
As we exit 2020. Yes. So tell our listeners about your experience being a member of Zeta Phi Beta. I proudly promote HBCUs, historically Black colleges, on this podcast, and I always love to, get folks' take if they are a member, our guests that come on, a member of the Greek letter organization. So being a member of Zeta Phi Beta, let our listeners know kind of when were you initiated. I know you said a little bit earlier, but when were you initiated? What was your number?
Okay.
What's all that good stuff, and what has it been like being a Zeta all these years?
Okay, A&M Commerce. I am Fall 03. I am a trade club, 3 elements of blue, and my name is Blue Flame because that's the hottest part of the fire. So they said I was hot, so that's what we went with. Being a part of Zeta Phi Beta it's really taught me how to take ownership of the things that I want to create. Being a part of an organization who some people would consider the underdogs on campus, you ain't have no choice but to be original, stand out. You had to do something to make people want to be a part of what it is that you got going on. Because growing up, everybody knows AKA, everybody knows Delta. But very few girls get the experience of Zeta Phi Beta. And so when I was introduced to the Zetas, they were just like real chill girls, real cool, just regular smegular girls like me. Like they came on the yard, they were friendly, they were inviting, and not to say the other girls weren't, because they were too, but there was something different about this group of girls. And connecting with the Zetas and seeing how much talent they had and how fearless they were to create this persona that made people want to be like us. It was an amazing experience. Alpha Epsilon chapter, shout out to Alpha Epsilon chapter, A&M Commerce. We created something, an era during that time that I don't think can be duplicated. And then when I left, I brought my sister in, so we kept the legacy going. And now, and I told my sister, and this is how she got the name, actually, Tiff the Zeta. I told her when she crossed, I said, you will no longer be known as Tiffany Maxfield. They will always refer to you as Tiff the Zeta. And so that kind of stuck with her. But yeah, I've learned how to put on events, and so you learn all of those things being a part of Greek letter organizations, especially D9, because we got to put on weeks to entertain people on the yard. So you learn entrepreneurship, and it's been great for me.
Interesting too. It's a very interesting point that I never really connected, I guess, that you were really doing a lot of that kind of grassroots, type of things. And we can talk definitely blue and white, on most campuses. No, I'm not going to even say that sentence all the way. What I will say is,
not now, especially.
You're not now saying, but on some campuses, then Sigmas and Zetas weren't the popular, organization, or people just didn't know. They may have been popular, but you go like, wow, who are these popular people? But you had to kind of be different and stand out, as you mentioned. But I never connected the dots on how, notorious we were and progressive about putting things together full weeks. You know what I mean? A full week planning calendar, and then also getting funding for buildings and
all of that. Yes, all of that. Yeah, all of that plays a part into how I'm able to run my business and run my band now. Like I was president, then I was vice president, I was treasurer. I held all the positions.
Come on, president.
You get to learn and experience what it's like to be around different personalities, because each girl is different. You have to learn how to communicate with everybody because everybody's different, and then bringing in other people, like it's really shaped me, and I'm grateful that I chose Zeta because it allowed me to step up to the plate. I didn't have a choice. It wasn't that many of us, So it's gonna be me or nobody to do it. And it made me fearless. I guess a lot of my confidence came from that too. Just being a Zeta and having to be in the public eye all the time. Because being on the college campus and being Greek, you in the public eye all the
Definitely.
time.
Yeah.
All the time.
And it's you're like this celeb, if you will, on campus. Everybody's
Yeah, you
looking to
are.
you, so you have this pressure to perform, and you know how it goes. If you're wearing your letters, don't do this, don't do that, don't do
Yeah,
this.
so many stipulations, man. Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
got to watch out what you're doing when you're not wearing the letters, even when you're not wearing the letters, even what you said to Tiff. Listen, you're not going to be Tiff Maxfield. You're going to be Tiff the Zeta, definitely. So, but each and every week on the Finesse Media Podcast, so I ask my finessers, that's you, again, someone who's finessing the game. So again, thank you for joining the podcast. But who or what brand for you that's finessing the game?
What brand?
Or a person that's finessing the game for you?
We talking about locally or
This can be whatever that comes to mind. I may want to kind of tune this up because I gotta spell it out each time. So you gotta explain the joke. It ain't funny. So let me ask it, or just give it to you directly again. Who's that person or brand that's finessing the game for you that comes immediate to mind?
Me.
There you go. That's no wrong answer.
And I feel okay with saying that because it's taken a long time. People think I just popped up on the scene out of nowhere. I've been doing this since I was 19 years old. I'm 36. And I feel like now I am okay with the fact that I've established a brand and it's working for me. It's working. And I'm just going to keep building on that.
And as a mom, absolutely. I'm not going to even just continue on like you didn't say nothing that's powerful. Absolutely, Sora. Self-love is the best love. So that's no wrong feeling about it. Definitely, if you're loving on yourself, then you're not looking necessarily for other people, and that self-encouragement. And as we just said, quite briefly about being in undergrad and being presidents, I remember being the president on campus telling folks, listen, you got to be the back catcher, the umpire, the crowd, the pitcher, and you got to run the whole show, because depending on someone else to cheer for you, it can be an upset for you. So finesse the game and love on yourself. So I love that comment. That's probably honestly the best response. And we're in episode, I have no idea, but this has been the best response, loving on yourself. But before I get you up out of here, I ask before you do it, ask if you'll do it before. But sing us out on this episode, Sora, with anything that comes to mind, like a Vanessa. And you mentioned yourself, so I guess that's a good segue, Vanessa. If we may take whatever that comes to your mind, from your lungs, from your heart, and let people hear you. And I'll just let you go.
So I wrote a song on this last EP, on the AskMandi EP, and it's called Be Okay. And it simply just says that everything is going to be okay. And it goes, not ashamed to say life hit me hard. And I've even fallen a time or two. Bruised, but I have learned to come back harder. So I'll straighten up my crown, 'cause that's what real queens do. It's gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be okay.
Mandi Maxfield, hurry up with this album, please. Oh my God, man. And if you can do it a cappella, if you could do it, and that's the thing, like, thank you, Sora. First off, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But that's the thing, like, you ask singers to sing, and you've never, and I haven't had a singer on, so definitely you just broke the Finesse Media season 3 with this dope ass a cappella you done. But that's it, man. You can sing a cappella on the fly. That's a real singer. And I thank you for doing it. Yeah, a singer. I thank you for doing it. I thank you for representing Pleasant Grove well. And just being a finer woman, man. Seriously, Sora. I thank you for joining the podcast.
Thank you for
and
having
then being
me.
a mom too, doing all of this. Because that's a whole nother episode, right?
Right.
Being a mom, doing all these different things, and people probably just are taken aback when they go, wait, she was married, she was divorced, she got an album, she's a mom, and she's done background for so many different artists that it's like, damn. And then she's a member of Zeta Phi Beta, she's a college graduate, and the family's finessing the game. You're like, wow. So this is the type of caliber of guests I really want our listeners to take away from and learn from. People like you, Soror. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
If you're in Dallas or if you're visiting Dallas, because we know you're traveling with that mask on, people, Amanda, let folks know how they can see you in a social distance environment and also how they can keep up with you and follow you.
Definitely come see me Saturday nights for Organic Soul Saturdays, featuring #Mandi and my band, The Squad, at Sandaga 813. That's Exposition 813 Exposition Drive, Dallas, Texas. You can also see me on Sundays for Neo Soul Sundays at Lava Cantina in the Colony. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at spell the word #out, Mandi with an I.
That's what's up. Thank you, Soror Zeta Phi Beta.
And
Texas own. Soror, thank you for joining the podcast. This has been another episode of Finesse Media Podcast. I'm your host, Ken Finesse Media, and I'll see you next week with something brand new. Peace.
This has been another edition of the Finesse Media Podcast. Join us again next week for the latest news from HBCUs. Special guest